Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Trey Ball. We are continuing our way too early awards. This is part two. You'll notice that this is a lot shorter than the other two videos. This one we're just going to be talking about the Rookie of the Year. In my opinion, that narrative was already sealed and locked away before the season even started. Obviously, my pick is going to be LaMelo Ball. That's been my pick from before he got into the league, and even showing it now. He's clearly the favorite, the front runner. He's playing really great basketball for the Charlotte Hornets. Like any other rookie, it's just going to take a little bit of time for him to get his rhythm going, get a feel for the game. Even though, right now he's currently sitting at first in points, 150 points total, 90 rebounds total, 82 assists total, and 21 steals. He's leading every single category amongst rookies. You have rookies like Cole Anthony, James Wiseman, the number one pick, Anthony Edwards, and Minnesota. There's a lot of choices. Sacramento Kings guard Halliburton. He's another good guard that came into the league in this draft class. He's playing pretty good basketball for the Kings. He's going to be a good sixth man for them. I think he's going to be someone kind of like George Hill was when he was a little bit younger, playing for Indiana, or Patty Mills for San Antonio. I think he's going to be kind of like that. You're going to see his name associated with that six-man role. Just think he's going to be a great off-the-bench piece that's going to be a good floor spacer, first of all, because he's been hitting the shot from outside at a high clip since he came to the league. Everybody thought that would be a fluke like he was in college, but no. He came in the league, kept doing the same thing he's been doing all through his college career, knocking down wide open shots. But the clear favorite is still LaMelo. He's already had a triple-double this year. It was a night after he had just missed the triple-double mark by an assist, so he came back the next night and actually eclipsed that mark. I think he has a really good feel of the game. When I'm watching him, I kind of want to see him develop an outside jumper or a pull-up jumper. He's been able to knock it down here and there, but a little more consistency will keep the defense honest on him. I'd like to see him turn into more of a someone more like Penny Hardaway. Penny was very good at getting the ball in the open floor. I feel like he's being too cool. I don't know any other way to describe it. He's just being too cool with the ball. He comes up the court. He has a little bit of swag to him. He's making drives to the lane. He has a little bit of swag to him. I would like to see him put the pedal to the metal a little bit more, especially playing with Bridges, a guy that can get up off the floor. I think he does have the shooters now with Gordon Hayward and Graham. He's a good shooter as well, especially with Melo taking over the ball handling for majority of the game. I think that'll space out the floor, allow him to do other things like knock down the shot, wide open shot, versus having to get everybody involved every single time down. You have the Martin twins, so there's a lot of shooting and then there's a lot of athleticism. So I think when you're on the fast break, I think if LaMelo will put his head down and just attack the basket, I think that a lot more of his game will show. You see him at pick and roll. He'll occasionally attack the basket, but I think if you just give him the ball in the open court, have those guys, have the shooters run to the corners, have Bridges and PJ Washington just dive to the basket, I think you'll start to see that speed in his game a little bit more often. I was watching when he was in Lithuania. He was a very up and down player. He was very good at in the fast break getting to the open floor. I think he's just getting a feel for the game still, but even so, I want to see him play a little bit faster pace when he's in the open court instead of being cool with the ball. Wiseman, I think the thing with Wiseman is he's in an interesting situation because there's so many other pieces, not Steph Curry, but surrounding them that's been in and out of the lineup. So each and every night it's something different as far as what his responsibility is. Before Draymond came back, he was scoring more. They were playing through him a little bit more on the offensive side of the ball. So it's like the responsibility changed when Draymond came back. So you see he's taking less shots since Draymond's come back, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We still know the focal point is going to be Steph, and they're trying to get Andrew Wiggins going, which is, as you heard in the last episode, I totally don't agree with anything Ryan said as far as Andrew Wiggins being a defensive player of the year candidate, but way too early. You can make ridiculous predictions like that. But what I mean to say is Wiseman's responsibilities are different each and every night, whereas LaMelo's have to do the same exact thing every single night. He's a ball hawk as far as the rebounding goes. He's much like Lonzo in that aspect. A little bit of Russell Westbrook in the sense that whenever the shot goes up, his eyes are locked in on where the ball's going. He has a good sense of how to, measure the trajectory of the basketball when it comes off the rim, which is very underrated skill. I mean, a lot of big men have that skill. They're taught to use that skill. It's kind of rare to see it in guards at his age. You kind of have to be in the league for a little bit longer to pick that up. But he's doing it game in and game out. I really liked his performance when he played against Lonzo. He didn't shoot the greatest percentage, but um, you still tend to see that wanting to attack his brother, wanted to go back and forth with him and trade shots and make bad plays because your emotions are so into the game. But I didn't really see that from him. He was poised the entire night. Still made key plays. You did see maybe one or two plays where he did go at Lonzo. That's an important moment for them, but for to be his age and show that level of maturity and stay locked into the game and the task at hand, very impressed by that. But looking at Wiseman, I mean, I've spent a lot of time talking about LaMelo because a lot of people dogged him coming into the league, saying that he was just all hype and it was because of his dad, but I totally disagree. So that's kind of why I just harp on him a little bit more. I'm a big fan. But looking at Wiseman, I'm also a big fan of his. I think defensively he could be that defensive presence in the paint, the kind of like a linebacker. Linebackers calling out things to the defensive line, directing traffic and stuff like that. When the quarterback is making audibles, the linebacker is doing the same thing. I think that Wiseman can be that for the Golden State Warriors because we have no idea what they're going to do with Draymond. We don't even know if he's going to be there past this year's trade deadline. So to develop him and turn him to a defensive juggernaut, being 7 feet tall at 19 years old, that ridiculous wingspan, and he's pretty mobile for his size as well. I want to see him start to take over a little bit more defensively, be a bigger paint presence. He's going to have to. I mean, DeAndre Ayton's coming. Joker, he's a presence. KP, he's a presence in Dallas. Anthony Davis is a presence. So you're constantly, going to be going up and matched up against these bigs in the Western Conference, and you got to be ready for it each and every night. And defensively, that's where his attention should be more so offensively because anytime you have a guy like Steph who can snap at any moment and draw so much attention on the offensive end, the offensive game will come to you. It'll come to you. You're not going to have to force it. He's going to attract double teams. You just got to be ready to catch the ball and make the next play. Dives to the basket. He comes off a screen. You just got to be ready because two guys are going to go to him. You're going to be wide open for a dive to the basket. That's where Draymond Green's bread and butter has been when playing with guys like JaVale McGee, Maurice Space, Andrew Bogut over the years, David West to some degree for a little bit there, but Wiseman is more athletic than all of those guys except for maybe JaVale McGee, but he's going to be able to benefit in those same ways. You're going to get maybe 4 or 5 of those plays each and every night. That's an easy 8 to 10. You're going to get maybe 4 points from the free throw line. That's 14. And then you're going to get maybe 3 to 5 post-ups every night. So you could be a perennial 20-point scorer on the Golden State Warriors team. And, I mean, like I said, we don't know how long Draymond's going to be there, and we don't know what we're going to get from Andrew Wiggins each and every night. So I think Wiseman could be a very big threat to the Rookie of the Year, but because it's so early and LaMelo's off to the fast start that he is, I think it's under lock and key right now. It's LaMelo's award to lose at this point. I really like Wiseman. He's at 11-6 right now. I think he needs to elevate his game and get a little bit more comfortable in the offense. The NBA game has been a little fast, but I mean, the first couple of games you've seen him. He knows how to get a shot. He's not afraid to put the ball on the floor. He's pretty decent in the paint as far as post moves go. I think the generic jump hook should suffice for right now. Where he is in his game as a professional. What I would like to see though is a little bit more face up. Kind of like one of my favorite power forwards. I mean, I gotta say one of my favorite power forwards of all time, Amari Stoudemire. when Amari really dominated, he learned that face-up game. He added that face-up game to his arsenal, and we really see him take off. I mean, for a minute, there was, guys like Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, and the tier under him. I think Amari Stoudemire was right there. If he didn't get hurt and have all those injuries, he would have been the next man up as far as the great big man of the game. If Wiseman can adopt that style of play back to the basket into a face up, maybe a jab left and go right, maybe a little dream shake. I don't know if Hakeem is still working with guys, but if you hook up with somebody like Hakeem Olajuwon and you're only 19 years old, I mean, that's something Kobe didn't do till he was like 27, 28, 29. LeBron, same thing. He was 26, 27 when he got with Hakeem. A lot of those guys wait till they're later in their career, and then you see the transition of their game. If Wiseman was to do that at 19, I mean, even I just seen something a minute ago where he was talking about where Steve Kerr was talking about getting him in contact with Kevin Garnett. Even then, Garnett was a good face-up player. He had a good turnaround jumper. If you have somebody like that, of that magnitude, helping Wiseman develop his game at 19, you're going to see the development happen even faster and even faster rate than you would normally see a 19-year-old big man that's 7 feet. I mean, a lot of those intangibles are not. A lot of those intangibles are very important, despite the conditioning, the lifting, and the weight training, and the ball handling and shooting and all that stuff. There's intangibles that you can get from someone like Hakeem or Kevin Garnett that most of these players in the NBA don't have because they don't have all these resources. Or you know what? I take that back. They do have the resources. They just don't use them. They don't really think to use them. They're just using their own trainers, team staff, so on and so forth, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to get to that elite level, you got to reach out to some of these legends, some of these vets in the game. I mean, I see some of these guys, they'll work out with LeBron maybe once or twice and just be done. If I'm a young wing player, I'm training with LeBron all the time. I'm training with Kevin Durant as much as I can. Kawhi, PG, I'm training with these guys. If I'm a point guard, I'm linking up with Chris Paul or Stephen Curry. Um, you know, find somebody that's at your position, that's where you want to be at, and reach out and make contact with them. So I hope Wiseman links up to Kevin Garnett pretty soon, because that would be very big for his game at this stage of his career. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Special thanks to Curtis Murphy and Murphy Elite Training for sponsoring this episode. If you want to stay up to date on merchandise or simply update your game, please click the link in the description to stay up to date on all things Murphy Elite Training. Until next time, you know the rules.